So Jamal, my man, shout out to Jamal, one of the best people out there. He's asking us, do you think Sermon will challenge Akers as the best running back in the division by the end of the year?
I can go first on this. I think Sermon needs to challenge Mostert as the best running back on the team before he can challenge Akers, because we don't even know if Sermon will start. Now, we still have, obviously, training camp, OTAs, all that fun offseason jazz, but we don't know how Sermon will be in the next level. Now, he had a few very, very dominant games for Ohio State. I think his most famous one was Northwestern, where he had over – he had like over 300 yards.
300.
Yeah, so he's shown the ability to just be insane. And I know one thing that I keep harping on with him and why I like him as a fit is his 10-yard burst is unbelievable. And his 40 time is actually a little slower than you would think for a running back, but his first 10 yards, he was a track guy, and his first 10 yards are just unreal fast. And I think when you're hitting a hole or need to get somewhere in a quick pace, and the first 10 yards is kind of the most important for a running back, because what's the point of being able to hit a home run touchdown if you can't actually get through get to the point where you're in the open field? And that's where Sermon will be great. But I guess we just have to see it, because we haven't seen him play in the NFL, and he was a little inconsistent at Ohio State and not always their bell cow, and the fact that he doesn't have a ton of games of just pure dominance. So he could really, really be that great. But we've seen what Akers has done in the NFL, and he's just bullied teams. Mainly the Patriots, when he had over 180 yards in a single game. And I'm excited to see, but yeah, I think Sermon needs to get through Mostert first, but it'll be interesting to see how it does stack up. How he's
I'm gonna be totally objective here and just give my real thoughts. I'm gonna say no. I thought Cam Akers was a better running back coming out of the draft than Trey Sermon was. Cam Akers is better in short areas. I think he has better second year in terms of speed. Cam Akers also has an incredible burst, which you talked about. Trey Sermon's burst is incredible. I think Trey Sermon tends to run high sometimes, which for whatever reason, the Niners seem to like running backs that run high, which is odd given that Frank Gore is the greatest running back in the history of this franchise. And the thing that separated Frank Gore from everybody at 205 pounds was his pad level. But I mean, you look at Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert, Matt Breida, Jet McKinnon, Trey Sermon, they all run high. Joe Williams, they all run kind of high. So I think that's one other thing. I think that they both obviously have good contact balance and all of that. But I just think Akers was a better running back coming out of Florida State, and how good he looked in the NFL, especially down the stretch of last season. Again, I'm very high on Cam Akers. So that's just how I feel about it. I think Trey Sermon can be really good, but I think Cam Akers can be one of the 7 or 8 best running backs in the NFL. I don't know if I think Trey Sermon can be that. I think Trey Sermon can be a really good player, but being one of the 7 or 8 backs in the NFL, I mean, you're talking he's amongst the names like Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley and Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey and Joe Mixon and Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones. That's where I think Cam Akers can be, like the bottom of that list. I don't know if Trey Sermon can be there, even though he's part of this great run scheme and all of that. So for that reason, I'm going to say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, though, because obviously, Sermon's probably going to have an easier time running the ball because he has Trent Williams and Banks and a ton of really good O-linemen, where the Rams O-line probably is not as good as the Niners, and they don't have the tight end of Kyle Juszczyk, who's also a really good fullback, and then the blocking of Kittle is probably better than Higbee, so Sermon will have the opportunity to produce. So good question, though, Jamal.